Hello there, I'm Vigalius. How's everyone? How's everyone on this cold, crisp morning? It's not the morning. I never post these in the morning. I never upload these. Well, at least I never push them live in the morning. So I'm kind of lying to you right now. Or am I? Allow me to be a boomer for a moment, okay? Allow me to be a boomer allow me to boomer you up, girl. Okay, the things I wish I hadn't said, that's high on the list. But allow me to be a boomer for a moment, okay? Let me speak to your manager. They don't make them like this anymore. They do not make them like this anymore. By which I don't mean because of the retro style. I don't mean because it's a boomer shooter or the graphics or anything like that. What I mean is this game, Warhammer Boltgun, is a balls to the wall linear FPS with non-stop action where the fun just never ends. You don't have to look for your fun. You're not plopped into an open world. You just go, 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 go. And I love this game so much. Oh my god, I love it. I love this game. It's absolutely fantastic. This is exactly the type of game that I need, that that should be on my list. And I'm so disappointed that I've waited for this long to play it and for it to be on Game Pass, because I slept on this game so hard. And you would have to sleep on this game pretty hard because it's so badass. Everything you do in this game is badass. It has a very Doom sort of style and aesthetic where everything is just everything else is thrown to the wayside, and the most important thing is that you are constantly being refueled with action, and the action is always happening at all times. It's that Michael Bay style of game which you want. When it comes to a film, you maybe want something with more depth and artistry because it's not active, it's passive, and you're just experiencing a story. With a video game, dude, I just want to go nuts. I just want to go freaking crazy. And this is the embodiment of what a video game is, and I guess kind of what a video game should be. And it is just super fun. And I can't tell you much more else about the game. I can't tell you what the story's like because it doesn't matter. I can't tell you the lore and the depth of it. None of this matters. I can't tell you what the game is about because you're looking at it and so you know what it's about. It's just crazy. It's just a lunacy of a game. Every gun feels fantastic. Every gun that I picked up, they all have unique ways of firing. I wouldn't say that the roster is particularly high in terms of weaponry. You're not going to be experiencing a great deal of weapons, particularly nowadays in the age of the looter shooter. That may be a bit jarring for some. Not for me, but each of the weapons does feel great and does feel different to every other weapon. Very projectile feeling, but some feel more projectile than others. Some of them are heavier and stronger than others, but everything you do has a lot of weight to it. Every weapon has a great deal of vibration on the controller, which is odd to say. I mean, it feels like a weird way to describe the weaponry, but you're just gonna have to trust me on this. And when you jump and land, your controller vibrates. When you have a chainsaw attached to your left trigger, which doesn't have a cooldown or anything like that, and it doesn't really gain anything. It's just because a chainsaw is badass and they want you to have a chainsaw. So you can hit the left trigger or whatever the key is and hit someone with that. But again, you get a great deal of vibration. And I remember I was playing this on mute for some reason. It was only for 5 minutes or so, and my controller was so loud. It was going and it feels like a weird thing to put into a review, this controller feedback thing. But that's the whole point. The point is everything you do has so much weight and gravity and movement to it. In contrary to the graphics, which are obviously very blocky and very old school and retro, it doesn't feel like those two things would gel, but they absolutely do. And the perfect way to explain how badass focused this game is if you press Y, your character just cracks their knuckles and makes a cool quip, and that is what that button does. That's what that button is designated to do. And I think that really just sums up this game perfectly. There are a couple of modernalities to it, but in the same vein as a game like Doom or Doom Eternal, they're modern sort of touches that do enhance the game and aren't just there for the sake of making the game feel more modern. So there is a dodge button. which is on a slight cooldown, and there is also mantling. So if you jump to a ledge, you'll mantle over it. This just makes sense. These are things that make sense in the game. I was surprised there is a grenade button, and I appreciate that. I'm cool with it. It feels like something that isn't in a lot of these boomer shooters, but it is in this one. But yeah, just everything just feels great. Like it's the type of game that I can't fault. Because how could I? What is there to complain about? There's nothing problematic here. You just have fun weapons, great environments, by the way. The environments remain fairly varied, although not all the time. But it doesn't matter because the environments look great themselves. The enemies are all fun to fight. I will say the only issues I do have are sometimes some of the enemies feel a bit spongy, and occasionally, and I don't know if this is just because I was running it on an Xbox or if it's my Xbox, it would just freeze for a couple of seconds. This doesn't happen frequently enough for it to be a nuisance, but it is present. But at the same time, in terms of the bullet sponginess, I do like the fact that they mix it up with different enemies with varying levels of health. I think that's great. You encounter like a stronger enemy and go, okay, I'm going to have to think of a new way to approach this. And a lot of the time in other video games, I find that to be quite annoying. I'm someone who likes to feel like a badass when they're playing games. But here it's like, awesome, I get to switch up my strategy and find a way to take this guy out, and it's just everything is fun, despite the fact that you do encounter a lot of the same enemies. The way that you have to approach those enemies is varied enough, but not so obtuse that it will become annoying, and it just works. It just works, dude. This game just works. So yes, I would say Warhammer Boltgun is incredible, and I would absolutely recommend it. This is a very, very fun game.
The PlayStation's only $149, and you can also get leading titles.